Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rebuild Your Body presented by BluePhoenix Fitness. I am your host, Cameron Makarchuk, and it is my job to help you reclaim your health, lose weight, and become the strongest version of yourself. I got a great episode for you today. I'm going to walk you through my own personal stretching routine. It's exactly what I do on a regular basis, pretty much every single day. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I have a drink of water, I do a little meditation, and then I go through this 6 or 7 stretch routine while I'm waiting for my coffee to brew in the French press in the morning. So I make a nice big French press of coffee, and while I'm waiting for that to brew up, I go through this little routine, and it just helps open up my body for the day. Gets rid of any type of tightness or stiffness or little aches and pains I might be feeling from sleeping the night before, or whatever the case may be, my workout the day before, and just helps prime my body for the rest of the day. Another benefit of doing this in the morning like I do it is that it's time that I already have. I'm not trying to find time to do some more stretching or mobility work later in the day. It's time that I already have. I'm waiting for my French press for my coffee to brew in my French press. So I'm not searching for that time, it's already there. I just fill that hole with some additional stretching. Takes maybe 10 minutes max, and then I've done a little bit of stretching. And if nothing else happens for the rest of the day, if I don't do anything else the rest of the day, which is unusual, but if I don't, at least I have that stretching and mobility work from the morning ticked off my list, and I've at least done something to help rebuild my body. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to walk you through it right now, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first stretch we're going to go into here is a chest stretch. So this can be done in any doorway or up against a wall. Really good for opening up your chest and getting some tightness out of the pec area. Great stretch to be doing on a pretty regular basis if you sit at a desk a lot or if you drive a car a lot, pretty much like everybody on the planet. So a great stretch to start off with to get the chest opened up. Next, we're going to move into a standing Tspine extension. So we're looking for some extension through the upper back between your shoulder blades to get some movement in the spine there. Again, really great exercise if you find you're having some rounded shoulders or some upper back pain, neck pain, things like that. If you sit at a desk a lot, if you find your posture is slouching a lot, really great movement to do. And then as you'll see here, I sometimes come up and down and get a little bit of mobility work instead of just the stretch. A little bit of movement in that to work some mobility in the T-spine. Next, we're going to go into a standing hamstring stretch. And so this one, the biggest thing with this is you want to think of not so much like you're trying to touch your toes. I want you to think of as you're trying to push your belly button towards your toes. It's a big difference. You're going to notice my back is a little bit flatter. I'm thinking of driving my hips back and trying to push my belly button down to my toes. Compared to what you see most people do for a hamstring stretch, which is this, where you're completely rounded over. And this is not a bad stretch. It's good for some global flexion, but it's actually less effective for stretching your hamstrings. Next, we're going to move into a couple calf stretches. So this first one, we're going to be focused on that back leg. So leg straight, heel drove into the ground, and pushing the hips forward so you can get that stretch in the lower part of your leg and your gastrocnemius muscle. And then we'll come up. I like to do a couple ankle rotations and then move into a soleus stretch, which is another calf stretch. But now this one, my knee is bent and I'm trying to drive my knee forward and stretch the deep muscle in the lower part of my lower leg, and also work a little bit of ankle mobility at the same time. Then when I'm done that, I'm actually going to do some toe extension stretches. So on that back foot, I'm just trying to really extend and stretch out my toes and the bottom tissue and muscle and fascia that runs on the bottom side of my foot, and then a few more ankle rotations just to get the ankles loosened up and mobile. Next, we're going to go into just a very simple standing quad stretch. So nothing crazy here. If you do need to, you can use some support. You can put your hand to support on the opposite side if you need some help with some balance. What I'll often do with this is I will add in a bit of hip flexion stretch. So I'll lean forward a little bit, drive my hips down and kick that knee back, and that gets a little bit of a deeper stretch and hits the hip flexors a little bit more as well. And next we'll go into a standing figure 4 stretch. So this is going to be primarily working the external rotation of the hip. So a really great stretch to open up the hips a little bit and If you sit at a desk a lot, again, great one to do to get some external rotation and open up the hips and stretch those muscles on the outside. This is also one that can be done. It's a little bit difficult to do standing. So if you do have some issues with your balance, you can also do this exactly the same way, but you'll be sitting down. So if you just picture me sitting down on a bench and doing this exact same thing, then that's a little bit easier as well. And finally, we'll get into the last one, which is just a simple lateral lunge. And now this, I'll maybe do a little bit of assistance by holding onto the ground so I can get a little bit deeper into that stretch, trying to stretch the inside of the legs and the adductors, and really, again, open up the hips in the opposite direction as what we were doing in the standing figure 4 stretch. But great one to finish off with, and great to open up the hips and get a little bit of a hamstring stretch at the end. So there you have it. My very, very simple 6 or 7 movement stretch routine that I go through every single morning while I wait for my coffee to brew. Something very easy that you could work into your daily routine as well if you want to get a little more flexibility, a little more mobility, take away some aches and pains. Very, very simple thing you can do morning or night or throughout the day, whenever you can squeeze it into about 5 or 10 minutes. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. I'm putting out new videos consistently all the time, so you don't want to miss any of those. Make sure you hit that bell as well so you get the notifications. And last thing, if you liked this stretching video, I'm actually going to link to another more thorough stretching flexibility video that I did a few months ago. So I'll put that somewhere over here beside my head. So just click on that and I'll see you over there.